tomorrow. I'll be your tutor. So yes, I'll be in your service to help you learn DBT skills. Okay? We are just starting in 1 minute. And before we get started, I want everybody to let me know which city they are from. In this manner, we'll be establishing a communication, a good communication as well. Just type in the chat box which city you are from. Okay, so I can see Khola is from Islamabad, Karachi, Afzal, Lahore, Bahawalpur, Kasur, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Karachi, Saudi. This is exactly why we cannot afford to keep physical classes. A lot of you guys, a lot of people reach out to us and ask, when are you studying physical classes? And my answer is never. Why? Because look at the variety here. People are from Islamabad, people are from Kasur, people are from Saudi, people are from China. I mean, isn't it unfair if I teach only people in Lahore or only people in Islamabad right now? Before COVID, I was in Lahore and we were taking courses, only physical classes, only physical classes, and in Lahore. And everybody always complained, sir, when are you coming to Karachi? Sir, when are you coming to Islamabad? And I was like, how can I fly there and come to you guys? So I created this very accessible training online so that everyone can come. And thanks to God, there was COVID and everybody actually became an online learner. So then this is what happened. COVID came, everybody became actually to the level of what I have been teaching, what I've been saying, that learning should be accessible to everybody. Because I grew up in Quetta, I am from Quetta, a small city, and I was always frustrated with the lack of accessibility to good education, good trainings, right? So that small boy from Quetta wants other small boys and girls in small cities not to suffer the lack of accessible and good quality education and international certifications. Okay? So that's why we are online. We will always be online. Anybody joins us, and if nobody joins us, we will still spread knowledge and try to keep psychology trainings, international level of trainings accessible to everybody all over the world. Okay? So that's our motto in PIMS. Yes, I'm going to take 5 minutes just to revise a little bit of brief introduction, just in case you missed yesterday's class. Yesterday, we had about 1 hour of introduction and interactive question answering about the introduction and everything else. Okay, so if you missed yesterday's class, I'm going to tell you my WhatsApp number so that you can WhatsApp me, and then I'll give you the YouTube link where you can watch it again. Just very briefly, the organization that you are taking the course from is called PIMS, Pakistan Institute of Mind Sciences. Okay. We are accredited also from Global Institute of Modern Psychology, Malaysia. PIMS logo, this is PIMS logo. Okay. I am your main tutor, Ibrahim Siavash. I'm the founder of PIMS. We established it in 2016, registered in 2016. So, oh shit, 10 years ago, technically 10 years ago. So we established Pakistan Institute of Mind Sciences, registered it in 2016. However, we have been teaching before that. I have been personally taking clients after my graduation in 2011. I've been counseling since 2011. So any kind of modality of therapeutic modality that you can think of, I have a certification in. Currently, inshallah, I will be finishing by the end of the year my PhD from UK and Malaysia. Before that, I did an MS in GCU Lahore. Before that, I did an MSc in counseling from University of Balochistan, Quetta. And before that, of course, college, I also did pre-psychology courses in college. FSC was pre-medical. Currently, I am the active member of ACA, American Counseling Association, American Psychological Association, National Guild of Hypnotists, American Board of NLP, and Counseling and Psychotherapy Central Awarding Body CPCAB UK. So a little bit about me, uh, about the graduate support program after you finish your course. Okay, it will not, after you finish your course or courses, it will not be the end of the training, but we will support you in three different continuous supporting active program. So first of all, after you complete your course, you will be part of our community, and we will promote you on social media. As you have seen, my our social media, about 30,000 followers, and on Instagram and other places. So you will be allowed to, you will be promoted there for your practice. There will be individual supervisions as well. There are paid supervisions. You can see from the from our website, pimscourses.com. And then, of course, we have the PIMS Mastermind Group. I think every first week of the month, we meet online over Zoom, only the graduates of PIMS, and we discuss challenges that you might be having. Okay. We are currently providing 5 courses, 4 month long courses, all of them, 1 day a week, 15 lectures, except CBT, trauma informed CBT, 16 lectures. So you took lecture 1 yesterday. Classes are always delivered online. You will be getting printable certificates. That is conditional to assessment. There will be tests, there will be demos, you have to demonstrate that everything that we have taught you, you have learned during the course. Easy to adjust, that's easy to do. That's why we recommend multiple courses. Study materials will be given to you. Recordings of all lectures will be given to you, and you will have lifetime access to all of them. After your graduation, you will be added to our community on Facebook, on Instagram, on mainly on WhatsApp. So if there are case challenges, if there are promotional challenges, you can promote yourself. You can give each other referrals in all over the world. We have community all over the world. The only prerequisite to all of the courses, joining all of the courses, is having a good English. Okay, so every course that we start with the assumption that you don't know anything about psychology and human behavior. Okay, and we take you from there to establishing as a practitioner level knowledge where you can see clients. All right, and when it comes to obviously DBT skills, hypnotherapy, NLP, and TOT, all these forces are globally accredited, and you are allowed legally and ethically to see clients. So by the end of the course in DBT skills, you can call yourself certified DBT skills therapists. All right, you can see clients there all over the world. By the end of the hypnotherapy course, you can call yourself certified hypnotherapist. So you can see clients as well. NLP life coaching, you can call yourself certified NLP life coach, and you can see clients globally. Training of trainers, you can call yourself a certified trainer, and you can conduct your own trainings just like I am doing right now. Okay, for the TOT graduates, obviously we collaborate with them as well to promote and maybe teach our courses as well. There is accreditation process. So for example, your trauma informed cognitive CBT trainer, Miss Mariam, is actually our TOT graduate. She took first all 3 courses, practiced 1 year, then she completed TOT, and now she's teaching on PIMS. Okay. Just a little bit about the courses. DBT stands for Dialectical Behavioral Therapy, created by Marshall Lenihan, mainly to deal with borderline personality disorders. However, now in the modern times, it is used to teach. If you teach these 4 skills, you must, now the consensus is now you have to teach these 3 life skills to everybody, not just not just the people with borderline personality disorders. Okay, everyone needs to understand mindfulness. Everyone needs to build the skill of mindfulness. Everyone needs to build it up their distress tolerance, so you don't screw up their lives more than possible, right? What else? Then assessment, of course, at the end of DBT skills will be there will be a demo that you have to show. Of course, we will practice it so many times during the class. There will be a final written test, and you will be taking it just like you filled your form. You will be doing it on Google Forms and reflective essay. For professional hypnotherapy, of course, we will follow the tradition of Milton Erickson, focus on suggestibility, the science of it, no mumbo jumbo. I will not be bringing nonsense like telepathy and telekinesis. These are non-scientific nonsense, and we don't dwell in those things. But hypnotherapy is a very good relaxation exercise to deal with all sorts of anxiety-related disorders. Hypnotherapy and NLP deal with mindset shifts. We call them reprogramming. So, if you have a belief system, that's a program. We call it in the language of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, we call it programs. So, NLP and hypnotherapy jointly join hands to reprogram the mind as quickly as possible. Okay. We only go for the scientific approach. Okay. And of course, at the end of hypnotherapy, you will be submitting videos, final test, and case studies. All of them doable, easy to do. And then NLP, of course, we follow the tradition of Richard Bandler, the co-founder of NLP. We study the language, nervous system, and the belief systems. We focus on the subjective reality, and there will be 2 assessment videos that you have to submit, plus a group presentation. In every course, you will be you will be divided into mini groups, so it is easier for us to monitor each other as practitioners, and as well as do the assessments easier. Then trauma-informed CBT, of course, you took yesterday. This is also a very structured approach to therapy. But what we have added at PIMS to CBT training is the trauma lens. So the highly structured CBT has started to fail as we learn more and more in the current times about trauma. So we have included the trauma approach and combining the structured teachings of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. All right. The final thing that you need to know is the fee, because cognitive behavioral therapy and TOT, training of trainer, is not part of a bundle discount. Bundle discount, what is it? I will tell you in a second. For cognitive behavioral therapy, the fee is 16,000 per month. But if you have a student card, valid student card from a university and college, it is 11,000. For TOT, we will teach you branding. We will teach you not only the training of trainers, which deals with learning methodologies, but we will also teach you how to promote, market, run ads, have a presence online, and conduct not only online trainings, but also corporate trainings. The fee is 30,000, but if you're a PIMS graduate, you pay 25,000, just like this year we did the second batch. Next year in October, this is only happening in October. Okay, so if you want to join now, you cannot. You have to wait until October. Take a screenshot of this page, because here you can see complete schedule of our course. Mondays, trauma informed CBT 7 to 9 p.m. DBT are Tuesday 7 to 9 p.m. Hypnotherapy Wednesday 7 to 9 p.m. NLP Thursday 7 to 9 p.m. and TOT Friday 7 to 9 p.m. So every day of the week we have classes 7 to 9 p.m. Now, this is what I was talking about the bundle discount. If you are taking DBT already, you are a regular and paid student. This is the fee structure that we invite you guys to do. Okay, what do we mean by that? Let me just turn off cameras. No need to for the cameras today. Today, because it's an open class and not everybody who is in the class is a paid student. So just to make sure that there is no, the experience goes well and ethical, just keep your cameras and mics and everything off. However, from next week, where we start lecture number two of all the classes, there will be very interactive. Your cameras will be on, your mics will be on, and you can stop your tutor and ask questions at any time that you like. Last date for CBT registration this Friday. This Friday. Today is Tuesday. Friday is the last day. Alvira. Friday is the last date for registration and pay submission fee. Saturday, Sunday, we don't work. We are mental health professionals, so we keep our own mental health above everybody else, above the clients, above. We teach our clients, even if an unknown number reaches out to you over the weekend and says, I am suicidal, help me. It is your job to assess whether your mental health is at the position to help or not. Okay, this is a rule that I learned from scuba diving. No one in psychotherapy, psychology teaches to put yourself first. I learned the boundaries from scuba diving as I was getting licensed in Malaysia. My teacher told us very strictly that remember, it is very dangerous for you to help to rescue another diver in distress, because what if he creates a situation where you will be in distress as well? Okay. So always put your safety and mental health first before attempting to rescue others. This is what I teach my students as well. Now, coming back to bundle, and then we will start the DBT class. So bundle discounts, you can already see one course is 11,000 and two course is 16. So as you can see, there is a lot of discount. So for example, if you have a student card, instead of 11 plus 11 being 22, you are paying 66, and you see how it goes. So instead of 11 into 3 being 33,000, you're paying, and so on and so forth. The best discount is if you are a non-student and you are taking three courses. Why? Because if you're a non-student, 16 into 3 is the total fee, huh? So instead of 48,000, you will be paying 36,000. Yeah. So you will be saving about 12,000 a month. All right. That's we are telling you this not because I want you guys to join, take the courses. No, that's up to you. I tell you guys because I know this has I've been teaching this since 2016. Every time, the second time students try to complain, sir, can I take the bundle discounts now? I took, so for example, now this is February batch. You are taking DBT, right? And then February ends in May, and you say, sir, in the June batch, I want to join hypnotherapy and NLP. Before I didn't know PIMS, that's why I didn't know if I should be taking all the courses. Now that I know PIMS, I want to take all three. Can I get a bundle discount with as a three course? Then obviously the answer is no, because in each batch you have to be taking it. Okay, that's it. That's it for the introduction. Please take a screenshot, and then we go towards the question and answers. Okay, question. So if I take three therapy bundle courses and CBT total fee would be no, there is no CBT and TOT are not part of bundle discounts. Okay. Fee receipt and a student card pick in your WhatsApp number. Correct. So CBT, as I mentioned, is its own standalone course. Okay. So if you want to take, suppose two courses in, so you want to take, for example, you have a student card and you take hypnotherapy and NLP, which actually I suggest, because if you take hypnotherapy, it is there will be missing information if you don't take NLP with it, and vice versa. NLP and hypnotherapy, they go hand in hand. In fact, Richard Bandler, the co-founder of NLP, the course that they teach is combined. They don't separate it. Okay, but of course, I understand the economical challenges of our country, so we have separated it. So let's say you're a student, you're paying 16,000 for NLP and hypnotherapy. Okay. CBT will be additional 11,000. Okay. It won't be 21 in total. You understand what I'm saying? I hope there's no confusion. And of course, you can note down my WhatsApp number, reach out at this number, WhatsApp 332 780 7080. So you can ask any of other questions that you may have. And also, if you miss today's lecture, you can still reach out to me, and I will share with you the recording on YouTube. This is our website, pimscourses.com. This is our email address. You can follow the QR code, just scan the QR code with your camera. And here we go. Okay, take a screenshot of this as well. Take a screenshot of the course bundles as well. And that's it. All right. Now we're done with the introduction. We will jump into the DBT, Dialectical Behavioral Therapy, lecture number 1. If you have any questions, please go ahead and raise your hand. If you want a more detailed introduction, we did it yesterday. Okay. So if you missed yesterday, reach out on WhatsApp, the number already provided to you, and I will give you the recording as well. Any questions before we start DBT class today, guys? I'm open to answer any sort of questions that you guys may have regarding the introduction. Yes, GIMP Malaysia accredited our 4 courses that are DBT today, hypnotherapy tomorrow, NLP day after tomorrow, and TOT every Friday, but only once a year. So I can see there are no questions, okay? Fantastic. If you're ready to move on and start, okay, there's a question. Are these classes timing permanent? They are all permanent except for Ramadan, okay? Except for Ramadan, we understand 7 to 9 is the iftar time. So we will change the timings as per the convenience of the students, okay? That of course every batch students they have to come to consensus together, whatever their comfort level is. But usually what we have noticed is that people go for 4 to 5 p.m. class, so 1 hour class in Ramazans, 4 to 5 p.m. And then after the Eid, we will have one additional lecture as a compensation of the time missed during Ramadan. Okay? The content will be delivered. Our goal is to train you with the skills, with the hands on skills. We don't want to waste your time telling you stories and irrelevant details. Okay? Zainab, I don't know how much learning you can do after iftar. I am from Quetta. Maybe it's because I'm from Quetta, but not a single Pakistani wants to learn anything after you have had this sugar rush. You know, the what is the spike? The insulin spike of the iftar, you cannot focus. We did it. The insulin spike of iftar, you cannot focus, you cannot think, you will be groggy. Okay, so we suggest after iftar, go ahead and only remember Allah. My request is morning classes in Ramadan. Again, because these courses are for professionals, we cannot do mornings because morning, even in Ramadan, people are going to offices or universities and colleges. So we need to do it after 1 at least. So usually around 3, 4 or 5 p.m. Pakistan time. That depends on the students. But again, this is all on consensus. All right. But welcome to join or maybe join next time. I don't mind. Either way, it is your time. You join now, you get certified, and boom, you can quickly start your life of practice. You think about joining next batch. Maybe there is an increase in fee as well. And then if you are have any background in psychotherapy, you know that if you don't what you don't do today, you won't do ever. All right. Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. Man, it's a choice. We are here, we will be here, we have been here since 2016. We will be here, inshallah, until I take breath. And inshallah, after me, my students will be teaching you. Just like we have onboarded Mariam, a very reliable trauma informed CBT tutor. Slowly, gradually, we will include all the stars of our graduates, and then I'll hand the reins over to our own graduates. So I will be off. I've been teaching the same course content for about 10 years. So I'm pretty bored with with what I teach. I want to do something new with my life. That is why I'm doing my PhD. Maybe one of you will be one day teaching hypnotherapy or DBT or NLP or TOT. Now, TOT, I think I will do myself forever. All right? No questions? Thank you very much. Again, my number 0332 I will put it in on WhatsApp 092 All right. This is my WhatsApp number. It's in the chat box. You can always reach out and ask your further questions after the class. Okay. All right. Let's go now. Without any further ado, we are starting now the DBT skills badge. This is actually badge. I have to check on WhatsApp actually. We have a lot of. So, do you know, for example, which badge are we teaching in hypnotherapy? So, tomorrow is hypnotherapy class. We are now badge number 27. Badge number 27 of hypnotherapy. I've been teaching the same content. Of course, I have increased a little bit sometimes, changed a little bit. But almost I have been teaching hypnotherapy for the 27 multiplied by 4 months. Now you are in DBT skills batch 15. DBT skills batch 15. So welcome guys to DBT skills batch 15. My name is Ibrahim Siavash and I'll be your tutor for this course. Today is lecture number 1 out of 15. So after this, there will be 14 more lectures. Of course, due to Ramadan, we will add 1 or 2 more additional to compensate for the hours that we might miss during the Ramadan after Eid. So what is this DBT? What are you getting yourself into? First, you have to understand the certification criteria. This is very important, especially if you are an already paid student of DBT. Please listen very carefully. So there will be 2 titles given to you at the end of the course. 90% of people will complete their assessment and be called DBT skills therapists. So the title of the certificate will be written. For example, Zainab. This certificate is awarded to Zainab, and she's now here on to called a DBT skills therapist. She's allowed to practice the 4 skills of DBT, mindfulness, and the rest. Okay. Sometimes about 10% of people maybe only qualify for the coach, DBT skills coach. What is the difference? So first of all, both have to give a final test and pass the test. It should be very easy because it is in your own words, nothing bookish. Okay, you will have your course material obviously, but we expect everything to be about learning, not the rata. I know we grew up in education system where memorization is the key to getting marks, but how many of you actually remember what you memorized in matric? 0, right? So we focus on actual learning. Then both of you have to submit a reflective essay that is between 1500 to 2000 words. Do you know how many paragraphs is 1500 to 2000 words? no more than no more than 4 paragraphs. And what is this essay about? The essay is your experience, individual journey throughout their DBT skills. Now, a therapist, they will have written a deeper reflection. A, a coach is written a surface reflection. What is the difference? A surface reflection looks like, I enjoy DBT a lot. I learned so much that I want to recommend this to everybody. There is no assessment of the self here. But the DBT reflection will be, DBT opened my eyes to my own self. Previously, I used to believe that XYZ, but after understanding and assessing my own behavior, I realized that in each situation, in XYZ situation, I behave XYZ manner, and I have decided to be more mindful of my patterns. All right, something like that. That's a deep reflection. This is the biggest difference. Of course, attendance is mandatory. Lecture number one attendance is given to everybody, but the rest, of course, will be taken regularly when we start the next week classes, lecture number two. So 13 out of total 15 is mandatory. Okay, and this 13, it's okay if you miss classes, you know, if there's a valid reason. This is not school, so if there's valid reason, of course you can be absent. That's why you have the recordings that you will have lifetime access to, guys. Your class participation is important. All right, we understand that a lot of students, some students learn more passively. That's okay. All right, not only I am a teacher and trainer, I teach training, TOT. So I know that different people learn differently. So maybe just because you are not participating in the class, that doesn't mean that you are not learning. I understand that, but still I encourage you guys to participate. There will be a live demo in both cases. Live demo means in the class or maybe in the recordings, you have to run a 10 to 15 minutes session, therapeutic session with a client. The client is one of the students in the class. Okay, you understand? And on the basis of this demonstration, you will be given your certificate. There will be a peer reviews, means everybody in the class will assess your demonstration, not reflective essay. Reflective essay is only for my eyes. Okay, it's private, it's confidential, it's only between you and me. But for the peer review, of course, your demonstration will be shown to your class fellows, and that decides your fate to become a DBT skills therapist, or just take an attendance certificate. Sometimes people don't just come, pay 16,000 a month fees for 4 months. They don't participate in the class. They don't submit an attendance. We still will give you a certificate. Don't worry, because you paid your fees. But we give you an attendance certificate that this person has attended this course. So we are not responsible for any skill because we know they have not built a skill. You know, sometimes people already have skills, but they want to come for the certificate. So you get only attendance certificate. Is this clear? Please thumbs up if you understand, and I should move on. Certification criteria, thumbs up. How do you do the thumbs up? You go to the, to the, uh, where is that? Emojis button. There's an emojis button, and you can give a thumbs up. Thumbs up if you understand what I'm talking about. If you're okay to moving on, I can see thumbs up. Okay, thank you, Saima, Zakria, Afzal. All right, then. Okay, Arisha. I hope okay. So this is clear to everyone. Good. Now moving on. Now that this is out of the way, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it to one of my favorite therapeutic modalities, dialectical behavioral therapy. So on the screen, you can see right now Dr. Marsha Linehan. Dr. Marsha Linehan created dialectical behavioral therapy as a comprehensive cognitive behavioral treatment. So what does it mean? Cognitive treatments, there is a whole school of, there is a whole movement of cognitive therapies that deals only with thoughts. So they believe that the only thing that needs to be changed is thoughts, thinking. All right. Then there are, of course, behavioral therapists. Behavioral therapists, people like Jean Piaget, people like B.F. Skinner, people like Pavlov. Only focusing on behavior, reward and punishment. But then, of course, the modern approach to therapy is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. What DBT is a combination of CBT, okay, and Eastern philosophical approaches. That's what makes it more beautiful. So even though and the structure is missing here also. So it is not as a structure as CBT. Dr. Marshall Lenehan developed this at the University of Washington. It was originally developed to treat chronically suicidal clients diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So people with borderline, what are these borderline personality disorders? People with huge emotions, people with uncontrollable emotions. All right, uncontrollable. If you're sad, you're super sad. If you're excited, you're super excited. Borderline personality disorder. It was found to be scientifically effective for suicidal clients with multiple other co-occurring behavioral problems. This is where we got interested into bringing DBT for the common people as well, for non-clinical population as well. समझ आ रही है? Okay, so एक चीज मैं clear करूं कि the courses are multilingual, right? It is not just in English. Obviously, the course reading and material will all be in English, but the course discussion उर्दू के अंदर भी discussions होंगी, ठीक है? In fact, by the end of the course, we will give you, not by the end, in fact, in the next week, second class, we will give you access to course material, your workbook, your slides, additional scan, positive psychology recording, book recordings, and additional videos and everything, right? ये सारी चीजें हम आपको देंगे. बट ये आपको याद रखना जरूरी है कि ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर इन इंग्लिश, ठीक है? इसीलिए आपकी इंग्लिश के अंदर कमांड होना लाजमी है. ऐसा ना हो कि आपने डीबीटी की वर्कबुक ओपन कर लिया है और आपसे पढ़ा नहीं जा रहा, फिर फायदा क्या होगा, राइट? या आपने स्लाइड्स ओपन कर लिया है बट यू कैन नॉट रीड इट, राइट? So that's why we very strongly ask you guys that join only if you can have a good comprehension of English. Understand what I'm talking about, right? बट डिस्कशंस क्लास के अंदर हम जब करेंगे, एक तो इंटरैक्टिव करेंगे. अभी तो वन वे है ना, बिकॉज वी हैव सम पीपल हियर हु आर नॉट पेड स्टूडेंट्स और ऑब्जर्विंग द क्लास एंड इट इज एन ओपन क्लास. सो वी डोंट नो कि कौन कौन है, कहाँ कहाँ से आया है, कौन कैसे कैसे लोग ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, राइट? सो यू वांट टू कीप इट क्लीन, कि एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा रहे, किसी का बदमज़गी ना हो, राइट? Again, since 2016, I have met every kind of human beings that you can think of. ठीक है, तो आपके एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा रहे इसीलिए वन वे है. अदरवाइज वी हैव ओल्ड स्टूडेंट्स, फॉर एग्जांपल आई कैन सी सदफ हियर. वी हैव आई थिंक मदिहा हैज बीन शैडोइंग, काफी सालों से ज्वाइन करना चाह रही है. Maha is just finished her course. Honestly, I don't remember which course, but अभी इस बैच में आई नो कि आपने कुछ किया Maha ने, ठीक है? तो वेरी इंटरैक्टिव होते हैं. हाँ महा, सही कह रहा हूँ, सदा सही कह रहा हूँ? आप लोग बताएं कमेंट्स के अंदर, चैट बॉक्स में बताएं आप अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में. Moving on. So this course, this approach to therapy was created for people with BPD, borderline personality disorder. What is BPD? Borderline personality disorder are individuals who show characteristic patterns of instability in affect regulation, means emotion regulation. So हमारे पास एक पूरा स्किल है जिसमें हम सीखते हैं कि इमोशंस को रेगुलेट कैसे करना है, ऐसे ही है. So emotions को regulate कैसे करना है is directly answering one of the symptoms, addressing one of the symptoms of borderline personality disorder, but impulse control, interpersonal relationships and self image. Okay, ये borderline personality disorder की लोगों की है issues. Yeah. अच्छा, महा करिए सर, I took 3 courses in the last course. CBT, अच्छा 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 अच्छा, महा ने CBT लिया है, NLP लिया एंड हिप्नोथेरेपी. आप देखें ना, आप DBT कर रही हैं, जो मिसिंग लिंक है उसको फिल करना चाह रही है. वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड महा. ओके, इमोशंस. अच्छा, ये डेफिनेशन जरा नोट कीजिएगा, बिकॉज दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अप्रोच टू इमोशंस. डेफिनेशंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड के साइंटिफिक अप्रोच में ना डेफिनेशंस बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं, क्योंकि डेफिनेशंस को सो व्हाई कैन वी डू इट इन उर्दू. ओके, अभी बताता हूँ. एक मिनट. आंसा पूछ रही है कि 95% participants are from Pakistan, so why can't we do it in Urdu? We are doing it in Urdu. ठीक है, लेकिन टेक्निकल चीजें और रीडिंग्स एंड एवरीथिंग वो इंग्लिश में ही होंगे ना, उसको तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. राइट, जो कोर्स मटेरियल है किसी पाकिस्तानी ने ऐसे तो नहीं लिखा. एंड देन सेकेंडली, माय उर्दू इज नॉट वेरी गुड. ठीक है, मैं वैसे भी पठान हूँ, उर्दू बोलूंगा तो आप लोग हंसोगे ज्यादा और सीखोगे कम. राइट, सो लेट्स डू बेटर. राइट, तो देखिए, मैंने टीचिंग 2005 से स्टार्ट किया, इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज टीचिंग से. टीचिंग इज माय पैशन, दिस इज व्हाट आई लिव फॉर. ठीक है, साइकोलॉजी की प्रैक्टिस 11 से स्टार्ट किया एंड साइकोलॉजी कोर्सेज पढ़ाना 16 से स्टार्ट किया. लाहौर के अंदर कौन सा ऐसा यूनिवर्सिटी है, यूसीपी, रिफा, कोई भी ऐसा यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं है जिसमें मैंने नाम पढ़ाया हो. ठीक है, तो टीचिंग इज माय पैशन. मेरा जो पर्पज है इस दुनिया में आने का, वो लोगों को सिखाना है. ठीक है, अलबत्ता मैं शुभ शुभ बाबा नहीं हूं, मैं गुरु नहीं हूं, बट सिखाना मेरा पर्पज है. ठीक है, तो उस चक्कर में मैं मेक श्योर करता हूं कि मेरे स्टूडेंट्स जिस चीज को सीखने आए हुए हैं मैं उनको सिखा दूं, नॉलेज की ट्रांसफर हो जाए. राइट, अब वो जिस लैंग्वेज में भी, मेरे पास जो टूल्स है, साइकोलॉजिकल टूल्स है, जो लिंग्विस्टिक टूल्स है, वो मैं यूज कर लूंगा. ठीक है, उसके लिए आपको पेड स्टूडेंट लाजिमी है, पेड स्टूडेंट होना लाजमी है. ठीक है, आप चार्जेस देंगे मेरे, इट्स लाइक मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को सिखाता हूँ. देखें, दुनिया में बहुत सारे साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स के लोग होंगे, आप सबकी बर्डन उठाना शुरू करोगे, योर ओन जग विल बी एम्प्टी. जब आपके पास खुद अपने लिए इमोशनल स्ट्रेंथ, रेजिलियंस नहीं होगा, आप किसी को क्या हेल्प करोगे. राइट, सो डू योर पैशन बट चार्ज मनी फॉर इट. इस तरह आपका घर भी चलता रहेगा एंड देन यू विल बी एट पीस विद योर वर्क. आपके वर्क का वैल्यू भी ज्यादा होगा. ऑनेस्टली, आपका क्या ख्याल है? अभी मैं 7,000 ले रहा हूँ पर सेशन. ठीक है, एंड इट्स अ वेरी मिनिमल. अब मेरे एक्सपीरियंस और मेरे एजुकेशन की जो मार्केट में लोग देखें, मेरे अपने स्टूडेंट जो इस कोर्सेज को करके गए हैं, वो 15,000 10,000 चार्ज कर रहे हैं, बट आई एम चार्जिंग 7,000. राइट, बिकॉज मेरा जमीर भी थोड़ा सा कहता है कि यार चलो यार, सेमी एक्सेसिबल मुझे होना चाहिए. हाँ, लेकिन आज मैं फ्री में करूंगा तो आप क्या ख्याल है, मेरे लाइंस नहीं लगेंगे? लगेंगे, लेकिन किसी एक को भी फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा मेरी थेरेपी से. अच्छा, अब एफएस, सबर करो सबर करो सबर करो, मैं फिर से बताता हूँ. सो अफेक्ट रेगुलेशन यानी इमोशन रेगुलेशन. आपके अंदर कोई जज्बा आ गया, इमोशंस आ गया, राइट, एंग्री हो गए, उसको रेगुलेट करना मीन्स उसको कंट्रोल करना. ट्रिगर हो गए, रास्ते में किसी ने आपकी गाड़ी काटी, आपको डर लग गया, उस डर की वजह से आपको एंग्री फील हो गया, गुस्सा हो गया. अब उस गुस्से को लेके आप सारा दिन, क्या पूरा हफ्ता चलते हो. राइट, आप अपना सारा मूड, वो क्या कहते हैं, खून काला कर देते हो. राइट, एंड उसी वजह से आपकी जो डे है, आपकी जो इमोशंस है, वो सारे जाया हो जाते हैं. इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि आपके अंदर इमोशन की रेगुलेशन, अफेक्ट मींस इमोशन, इमोशन की रेगुलेशन नहीं है. समझ आएगी बात? सो इमोशन रेगुलेशन सीखना इज पार्ट ऑफ दिस कोर्स. उसकी 4 मॉड्यूल्स है. DBT skills का, and these 4 modules, one of them is emotion regulation. अच्छा जी, आगे चलते हैं और हम बात करेंगे इमोशंस की डेफिनेशन. इसमें जरा गौर करें, ठीक है. देयर आर पार्ट्स टू ऑपरेशनल डेफिनेशन ऑफ इमोशंस. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, दे आर ब्रीफ. ब्रीफ मीन्स दे स्टे विद यू शॉर्ट. मतलब ये ऑटोमेटिकली आते हैं, इनवॉलेंटरली है, ठीक है. यानी आपको जो इमीडिएट गुस्सा आया ना, वो इमोशन है, ठीक है. अब आप उस इमोशन को लेके 1 हफ्ते तक उदास होते हो, वो चॉइस है, वो आपकी लर्न्ड पैटर्न है. इमोशंस हमारी कंट्रोल में नहीं होते. जो इमीडिएट इमोशंस है, जो क्विक ट्रिगर्स है, वो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होते. हम इंसान हैं. कल मुझसे एक स्टूडेंट ने पूछा, कल मरियम ने पूछा कि सर आज भी आप नर्वस होते क्लास लेने से पहले. मैंने कहा बिल्कुल. कहते इतने सालों के बाद आज भी नर्वस होते. यस, क्योंकि मैं इंसान हूं. ह्यूमन is not a machine. Human is an organism with emotions. That's what differentiates us. But emotions are brief, involuntary. खुद ब खुद आते हैं. It is a result of your past experiences, beliefs and training and operations. ठीक है? उसको हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन अगर ब्रीफ नहीं रहा anymore and it is going with you all the month, पूरा 1 महीना आप डिप्रेशन में, now it has become a choice, a practice, a pattern. Maybe not a choice, but a practice. अच्छा, सो पहली चीज वो ब्रीफ है, इनवॉलेंट्री है, फुल सिस्टम है. फुल सिस्टम आपकी नर्वस सिस्टम की बात हो रही है. फुल सिस्टम, नॉट ओनली नर्वस सिस्टम, आपकी जो ग्लैंड्स है, आपकी जो पैंक्रियाज है, आपकी जो ग्लैंडुलर सिस्टम्स है, उसको भी एक्टिवेट करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू गेट ट्रिगर्ड, यू गेट अफ्रेड. It's not just your nervous system that is activating and firing. It is also all your body organs. Your heart is pumping quickly. Your blood is circulating faster. Your brain is more active. वो तो nervous system में आएगा, ठीक है. आपकी जो आपकी जो eyes है, pupil है, वो broaden हो जाते हैं, open हो जाते हैं. Iris widen होता है so that more light can come in, right? You become more attuned. Your ears, you can hear more. ये full system है. And there are patterned physical responses. But मजे की बात ये है कि they are patterns. There is always 1 followed by a 2 activation, then followed by a 3 activation, then followed by a 4 activation. In fact, इसको हम कहते हैं एक chained response है. So there is a situation always, and there are things that follow the same situation. There is certain emotion, there is certain urge, there is a certain thoughts, there is a certain physiological responses जो कि follow करते हैं एक situation की experience में. Alright, इसको कहते हैं एक chain. In fact, during the course जब आप सीखेंगे ना, chain analysis सीखेंगे, और वही आपका last demo होगा, ठीक है. सो ये पैटर्न रिस्पॉन्सेज होते हैं, इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल स्टिमुलाई. स्टिमुलाई का मतलब है ट्रिगर. क्या मतलब? सो आप कहते हो कि इंटरनल एक्सटर्नल स्टिमुलस तो एक ये हो गया ना कि आप एक्सीडेंट होते होते बच गया. बट एट द सेम टाइम देयर आर आल्सो इंटरनल स्टिमुलस, इंटरनल ट्रिगर्स. हाँ, आप सुबह उठते हो, यू हैड अ बैड ड्रीम. दैट्स एन इंटरनल स्टिमुलस. कुछ हुआ नहीं बाहर, आउटसाइड रियल वर्ल्ड में कुछ हुआ नहीं, बट इंटरनल वर्ल्ड में आपको कुछ हुआ है. यू गेट इट? सो वो भी आपको ट्रिगर करता है. एक फुल सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्स, एक फुल सिस्टम ब्रीफ इनवॉलेंटरली पैटर्न रिस्पॉन्स को ट्रिगर करता है. ठीक हो गया? और ये चीज, ये इमोशंस, पीपल विल बीपीडी, बॉर्डर पर्सनालिटी डिसऑर्डर के अंदर बहुत ज्यादा होता है, राइट? बहुत एक्सट्रीम्स में होती है, अनकंट्रोलेबल होता है. यू गेट इट? सो पॉज करते हैं, क्वेश्चन आंसर्स देते हैं. यस, ठीक है जैनब. व्हाट इज फुल सिस्टम इमोशन समझा दिया. ओके ओके ओके, आई थिंक डन. क्वेश्चंस, कंसर्न्स, थॉट्स, प्लीज राइट इन द चैट बॉक्स, क्योंकि अभी लाइव क्लास तो अभी कर नहीं सकते ना, तो राइट योर ओप्स, ये तो हम आगे चले गए। ओके, चल अगर नहीं देखा आपने, आप इस पर्सन को देखें। अब हम जा रहे हैं डीबीटी की फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल की तरफ, ठीक है। You look at this person and does he look like somebody that you should be afraid of? क्या इसको देख के कभी फील होता है कि इस बंदे से आपको बचना चाहिए, ख्याल करना चाहिए? नो, राइट? He looks pretty innocent to me, right? Do you think he's a nice person? Yes or no? Write in comment box. Do you think he's a nice person? What comes to your mind when you look at? चलो मैं properly question करता हूँ. What comes to your mind when you look at this person? Please write in the comment box. What comes to your mind? He seems creepy. Okay. What else what comes to your mind when you look at this guy? Alright, ठीक है। होला काफी होशियार है, नाम देख लिया था। But usually he looks really trimmed. You see, he's good looking, has beautiful eyes, good symmetrical face, good hair, right? Shirt इसकी pressed है, pretty है, अच्छा है. So usually you would be thinking that he might be an okay person, a good salesman or something. But then this person is actually Jeffrey Dahmer, a very notorious American serial killer, right? Serial killer who murdered, I don't know what was the obsession with gay black men, murdered and cut them into pieces before he buried them in barrels. So that level of inhumanity, that level of animal is inside of this person. But looking at his face, this peaceful, kind face, you won't know. ऐसी है. That is why looks can be pretty deceiving. लेकिन बात डिसीव की नहीं है, जो हम सीखना चाह रहे हैं आज की क्लास में, एक कॉन्सेप्ट है डीबीटी के अंदर, दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ जजमेंट्स. जजमेंट्स, जजमेंट्स क्या होता है जी? Judgments are your first immediate thoughts and feelings in any situation, in after any trigger. So there is a trigger, it creates a response. That response can be a thought, it can be an emotion. ऐसी है, it can be emotion. इनको हम कहते हैं judgments. Okay, समझ आ रही judgments? You got it? Please write a yes in the chat box if you understand what judgments are. Okay, Arisha says yes. Do you understand judgments kya hai? Or write your question if you have any. Okay, so अब ये होगी judgments की बात. एनएलपी सॉरी डीबीटी के अंदर एक वेरी कॉमन सेइंग है, इनफैक्ट therapeutic modalities with therapeutic experiences, but there is a very common saying that says we don't suffer experiences, we suffer judgments. You understand what it means? We don't suffer experiences, we suffer judgments. जब आपको कोई रिजेक्ट करता है, right? Is this the rejection that is triggering that depression inside of you? Or is it your judgment about that rejection that triggers that emotion inside of you? Right? What you have to understand is that the experience of life on its own does not create suffering, because it is equal for everybody. Why is it that some people suffer life? Is it because of the experiences, the negative experiences of life? The answer is no. The correct answer is we suffer the judgments that we have about those experiences. मेरे मेरे साथ ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था. हाँ, वो बड़ा नार्सिसिस्ट इंसान है, इसीलिए मेरे साथ ऐसा किया. मेरे अंदर कौन सी खराबी है जिसकी वजह से मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ? मैं इस लायक ही नहीं हूं. आई एम नॉट वर्दी. I should not have done this, or maybe futuristic. I shouldn't do this. I must not do this. I must not think this way. ना सिर्फ जजमेंट्स हम करते हैं, जो मेरा सबसे फेवरेट है वो है जजमेंट्स अबाउट जजमेंट्स. Does that make sense? Judgment about judgments. मेरे अंदर एक सोच आ गई, राइट? अब मैं मेरे घर में, अच्छा, मैं मैं गाड़ी चला रहा था और फिर सिग्नल में कोई एक वो आ गया, बेकारी आ गया और मुझसे पैसे मांग रहा था, ठीक है? तो मेरे अंदर सोच है कि यार क्या यार, इन्होंने माफिया बनाया हुआ है और तंग करते हैं, राइट? फिर मेरे अंदर दूसरी जजमेंट यह है कि यार मैं कितना नेगेटिव इंसान हो गया हूँ यार. हर बेकारी जो है वो माफिया का हिस्सा नहीं होता, कुछ लोग मजबूर भी होते हैं. देन आई स्टार्टेड हेटिंग माई सेल्फ कि यार मैं क्यों इतना नेगेटिव हो गया. यू गेट इट? जजमेंट्स itself एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लाइफ को स्क्रू अप तो करते ही हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम worse than judgments is judgment about the judgments. Do you understand? Judgment about the judgments. अच्छा, अब साइमा पूछ रही है शुड वी नॉट हैव जजमेंट्स. अब नॉट हैविंग जजमेंट्स इज नॉट बीइंग ह्यूमन. अगर आप इंसान है, यू विल हैव जजमेंट्स. In fact, on its own, judgments serve to protect you. कल हिप्नोथेरेपी की क्लास है, फिर एनएलपी की क्लास है, ये दोनों बड़ा रिलेटेड है एक दूसरे के साथ. इसीलिए हम उनमें सीखते हैं कि आपका जो फर्स्ट प्राइमरी फंक्शन है माइंड का, वो आपको सरवाइव कराना है इस दुनिया में. द वर्ल्ड इज फुल ऑफ थ्रेट्स एंड योर माइंड इज देयर टू हेल्प यू सर्वाइव दोज थ्रेट्स. सर्वाइव करने के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए? जजमेंट चाहिए. हाँ, यू शुड बी थिंकिंग कि ये जो बुशेस के अंदर, ये जो झाड़ियों के अंदर आवाज है, ये कोई शेर आया है. देयर इज अ लायन देयर टू अटैक मी. आई हैव टू सर्वाइव, राइट? So, judgments is part of being a human. You cannot not have judgments. However, mindfulness of those judgments and then managing those judgments is something that everyone has to learn. And that we learn during this course, DBT skills course. ठीक हो गया? थोड़ी देर में हम ब्रेक में चलते हैं, क्योंकि ये अभी ऑफिशियल क्लास है और हर क्लास के बीच में हम 5 से 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं. आज भी हम लेंगे. ब्रेक में जाने से पहले मैं आपको एक स्टोरी सुनाऊंगा एंड देन आई लीव यू टू होल्ड ऑन टू द लर्निंग्स ऑफ द स्टोरी एंड ब्रिंग योर क्वेश्चंस बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक फॉर मी. अच्छा जी, महा पूछती है, डज इट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड थिंकिंग व्हाट अदर्स विल थिंक लाइक वी जज आवरसेल्व्स थ्रू द लेंस ऑफ अदर्स? यस, ये भी जजमेंट अबाउट द जजमेंट है, राइट? मैं अच्छा नहीं लग रहा हूं आज. किसने कहा? मुझे लगता है मुझे देखने वाले बोलेंगे तुम अच्छे नहीं लग रहे हो. दिस इज ऑल्सो जजमेंट अबाउट द जजमेंट. दैट इज द बिगेस्ट सफरिंग. ठीक हो गया? Now, before we go to break, I want to introduce you to this guy. This is a hero in the DBT stories. This is the Japanese farmer. Who is this Japanese farmer? कहने में ये आता है कि there was once a Japanese farmer. Okay. Now, he was a really happy-go-lucky kind of a guy. He had one son. With his son and himself, farming करते थे. They would grow crops and sell them. बड़ा normal life था उनका, right? But one day, there is a heavy rain. बहुत तेज बारिश होती है. सुबह उठता है and then they look at the crops जिनको सेल करके उनको पैसे कमाने थे और पूरे साल का जो इनकम था वो जनरेट करना था। और उस फ्लड रेन की वजह से उनकी सारी क्रॉप जो है वो खराब हो जाता है। कंप्लीटली डिस्ट्रॉयड द होल क्रॉप, द होल फील्ड्स, पूरा फार्म उसकी जाया हो जाता है, उसके अंदर सिर्फ दलदल बन जाता है, कीचड़ दलदल, कुछ भी नहीं होता, सारे पौधे सारे इसकी क्रॉप्स खजाया हो जाते हैं। देन व्हाट हैपेंस इज, ऑफ कोर्स ही इज ओके, बट पड़ोसी के लोग, गांव के लोग आ जाते हैं। आपने पड़ोसी कहा तो मुझे याद आ गया। पड़ोसी के लोग आते हैं और कहते हैं कि यार तुम्हारे साथ कितना बुरा हो गया यार, तुम्हारे पास तो अभी पैसे भी नहीं होंगे, क्रॉप्स नहीं बेचोगे, घर कैसे चलाओगे तुम, बहुत बुरा हो गया तुम्हारे साथ बहरहाल। तो जो जापानीज फार्मर होता है कहता है कि गुड बैड आई डोंट नो, इट इज व्हाट इट इज। कहता है कि अच्छा हुआ मेरे साथ या बुरा हुआ मेरे साथ मुझे पता नहीं है, बस ये ऐसे ही है, इट इज व्हाट इट इज, राइट? So that's a level of non-judgmentality when experience, when life throws experiences at you, right? मजे की बात क्या होता है कि एक दो दिन गुजरने के बाद उसी दलदल में जब ये लोग सुबह उठते हैं और घर से बाहर जाते हैं, देसी के उसी दलदल में देयर आर लॉट ऑफ हर्ड ऑफ हॉर्सेस, वाइल्ड हॉर्सेस, वहां से कोई गुजर रहे होते हैं और उस दलदल में उस कीचड़ में फंस जाते हैं। So suddenly now he owns horses. Of course, horses are more expensive than crop. ठीक है। फिर गांव वाले आके उसे कहते हैं, "Oh my God, you're so lucky. Because of your luck, now you are a rich man. You have so many horses, beautiful horses." But the Japanese farmer again says, "Good, bad, I don't know. It is what it is." राइट, टाइम passes बाय, ड्राई हो जाता है, इसका जो लैंड है वो ड्राई हो जाता है, बट ही ओन्स दिस हॉर्सेस नाउ, सो ही इज ट्रेनिंग दिस हॉर्सेस विद हिज सन। सडनली इसका जो बेटा है, द सन, falls from one of the horses as they are taming and training the horses, and then breaks his back, becomes paralyzed, right? Completely paralyzed from waist down. Now we are talking the ancient times जहाँ पे physical strength बहुत important है। पैरालाइज हो गए तो फिर आप समझो आपकी जिंदगी खत्म है, ऐसी है। देन फिर से गांव वाले आ जाते हैं और कहते हैं कि यार यू आर सो अनलकी, यू हैव ओनली वन सन एंड दिस सन इज पैरालाइज नाउ, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू ट्रेन द हॉर्सेस, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू ग्रो क्रॉप्स, यू आर सो अनलकी। एंड देन ही सेज अगेन, गुड बैड आई डोंट नो, इट इज व्हाट इट इज। After a while, Japan enters a war with a neighboring country. And as part of that war, the army comes to every village and by force takes every son that can fight to the army. So everyone in the village is crying because they know कि अगर इनका बेटा चला गया आर्मी में वो तो मर के इसकी लाश ही वापस आएगा. So everyone is crying. Mothers screaming, sisters trying to hold their brothers. Guess who is not going to the army? Japanese farmer ka beta. Kyun? Because he's paralyzed. He cannot go to the army. Crying, wailing. The people in the village come to the Japanese farmer and say, "You are so lucky. Your son will survive the war." And again he says, "Good, bad, I don't know. It is what it is." The Japanese farmer is a metaphorical character in dialectical behavioral therapy approach. In the Japanese farmer's story, what we learn is the concept of radical acceptance. You see, life will constantly bombard you with experiences, good and bad, and you will never know which is which in the long term. What seems horrible and bad right now might turn out to be a blessing. What seems very good right now might turn out to be a painful, bad experience in the future. होता क्या है, ह्यूमन बींग्स अपने आप को ओवर एस्टिमेट करते हैं। उनको लगता है कि हम कोई खुदा है और हमें पता है कि फ्यूचर में क्या होने वाला है, हमें पता है कि क्या सही है, क्या गलत है, क्या अच्छा है, क्या बुरा है। In this over exaggeration of human mind, this is a cognitive error. We think that we know and we label what is good and what is bad. In dialectical behavioral therapy, at the core of all our approaches, we want to reach to a place of radical acceptance where there are none judgments, where we know कि हमारे अंदर ये judgment create हो रहा है and I choose not to believe this judgment. We choose not to go with this judgment. So you reach to a place of peace. And honestly, peace should be the goal of everyone's life. Break में चलते हैं, but before we go to the break, I want to answer your questions. Arisha says, does that means the assumption of the possible outcome is also a judgment? Correct. You can never you can never assume to know any outcome. Afzal, very interesting. Does DBT related to Buddhist teaching? Yes, very much. In fact, as I said, DBT is a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, but the Eastern philosophies of Islamic studies, of Buddhist studies, and others as well. But yes, you catch it, you caught it very properly. So remember this Japanese farmer's story as we go for a break of, let's go for 10 minutes, okay? It's 8:13 Pakistan time. We will come back at 8:23. What? 8:23 Pakistan time. All right? I see you guys after a short break. Hold on to the Japanese farmer, and I see you guys at 8:23. Okay, dear students, please come back so we can get started and continue the class. Please come back. Once you are back, give a thumbs up so I know you're here and we can continue with the class, guys. Come on. Come on, come on. All right, I can see everyone is back. So welcome back, welcome back. I hope you had fun in your break time. So we are now continuing our discussion on judgments. So first principle of a DBT approach to therapy is non-judgmentality. Hana? Non-judgmental, radical acceptance is the first principle. The second principle is the concept, the philosophical approach called the dialectics. Dialectics. Of course, the therapeutic modality का नाम क्या है? Dialectical behavioral therapy, correct? So dialectic concept उसके बिल्कुल central होगा. Dialectic क्या है? Dialectic is a very interesting and controversial concept in philosophy. उसमें क्या कहता है? Dialectics basically means two opposing forces existing together. ठीक है? इट इज इसका जो बेस्ट रिप्रेजेंटेशन है इस सिंबल में है. इसको थाईजी सिंबल करते हैं, कहते हैं. अगेन यस, बुद्धिज्म से आता है अफसल, जैसे आपने सही आइडेंटिफाई किया, बट मेनली जापानीज से आता है. जापानीज, राइट? इवन बिफोर बुद्धिज्म, द जापानीज फिलोसफी ऑफ थाईजी सिंबल. उसमें क्या है? सो द कॉन्सेप्ट इफ के अगर आपके पास एक पूरा एक सर्कल हो जिसमें सारा ब्लैक हो, ठीक है, उसमें अगर थोड़ा सा व्हाइट डाल दो, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता व्हाइट जो है बढ़ेगा और व्हाइट ब्लैक कम होना शुरू हो जाएगा, until eventually the white becomes all of the circle and the black becomes disappearing. Then you introduce a little bit of black in the white and then everything then becomes black. So it's a continuous dance that goes on forever between two opposing forces, the yin and yang, the anima and the animus. Two opposing forces continuously dancing together, taking position. One time the black is more, one time the white is more. This is the concept called dialectics. But इसके अंदर ना कुछ important points है. So for example, समझना आपको जरूरी है कि ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस के अंदर गुड एंड बैड दोनों एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, राइट? तो यानी कि अगर दुनिया में अच्छी चीजें हैं, वो तो बुरी चीजों के बगैर हो नहीं सकते, राइट? आई मीन आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि आज दिन हो रहा है बाहर, आउटसाइड ऑफ द हाउस इट इज नाउ डे? कैसे पता चलेगा? जब रात होगी तब आपको पता चलेगा कि ओ अच्छा, दिन नाम का कोई भी चीज होता है. You get it? So it is the existence of night that gives day meaning. It is the existence of day that gives night meaning. It is the existence of pain that gives pleasure meaning. अगर आपकी लाइफ में सिर्फ पेन 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 ही हो, आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कि आप पेन के अंदर हो, until you have a pleasurable experience and then you realize, oh shit, ये तो opposite है to what I have been used to, right? मैं अक्सर स्टूडेंट्स के क्वेश्चन करता हूं, आप भी जरा देखिए, क्या एक मछली को पता है कि वो पानी में है? Does a fish know that they exist in water? Yes or no? आपको क्या लगता है? Please type in the chat box. Does a fish know that they are in water? अफजल कहता है no. Arisha, no. Saima, no. Maha, very good. No until they are removed from it. Yes, you got it. Same is with human experience. हमारी nervous system only understands something when the opposing also exists. इसीलिए डीबीटी अप्रोच के अंदर जब हम किसी पेनफुल एक्सपीरियंस से गुजर रहे होते हैं, हम उसको गालियां नहीं देते, हम उसको बुरा भला नहीं कहते हैं, हम उसको वेलकम करते हैं, क्योंकि हमें पता है कि इस पेनफुल एक्सपीरियंस की वजह से ही मुझे प्लेजरेबल एक्सपीरियंस का एक्सपीरियंस पता लगेगा. I can only become aware of health when I am ill. इसीलिए हम एज मुस्लिम्स प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, बीमारी के वक्त अल्लाह को याद करो, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बोल के याद करो. कंप्लेन नहीं करो कि मैं क्यों बीमार हो गया, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैं बीमार हूं. दिस इज द माइंडसेट. क्यों अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैं बीमार हूं? क्योंकि मैं बीमार हूं, इसकी वजह से मुझे सेहत हेल्थ का पता लगेगा. सो डायलेक्टिक्स, do you understand the concept of dialectics? Two opposing forces coexisting and giving each other meaning. They are meaningless without each other. It's the story of क्या नाम था उसका, महात्मा बुद्ध, नहीं महात्मा, नहीं, what was his name, I forgot. जो बुद्धा, before he became a Buddha, he was a prince. अगर आपको नहीं पता, Buddha was a prince before he left everything. Why he left everything, the story is very interesting. Buddha was a prince and he was loved by the king so much, the emperor so much, that his father gave him everything, everything. उसको प्रोटेक्टेड रखा, उसको हर चीज से प्रोटेक्टेड रखा. There would be no people who are ill would be allowed around the prince. There will be no people who are old would be around the prince. Only healthy, hatte katte, strong men and women, beautiful, were around him. So as he was born, he was protected from the realities of the world by his father, the emperor. When he grew up, he just instinctively started realizing something is missing from his life. There is this sense of loss. Okay, what am I missing? Then he starts exploring. One day he sneaks out of the palace and goes into the village. And the first thing, now there's a whole story. I said the first thing he sees is an old man. He's confused. Okay, what is this? And the driver says it is an old man. He says, what is old? I've never seen old. He says, what happens at the end of young? It is the opposite of young. Oh, there is something opposite of young. Then he goes and he sees an old he goes and sees someone sick. What is this? This is illness. This is sickness. What is this? What is sickness? Sickness is the opposite of health, right? Only then he realizes his knowledge is complete now. Human is complete only when there is a balance. There is a coexistence of the anima and the animus, the masculine and the feminine energy, right? Yes, Afsar. Of course, then he leaves everything behind. He realizes he has been growing in a protected environment and he has no knowledge of what real life is. So he leaves everything, which is kind of a stupid move, if I be honest with you. I mean, if you want to go learn, okay, leave your money, but then come back, after you come back. But then again, his teaching was non-attachment. He said the root cause of all human suffering is attachment. So I'm Buddhism nahi padha rahe, we are not talking about that. But again, coming back to the story, the whole idea of dialectics is the coexistence of two opposing forces giving each other meaning. So principle number 1 in DBT is radical acceptance. Principle number 2, and they both are very important, is dialectics. Do you have any questions about any of them? Please type them in the chat box and I will answer them. Acha, usually क्या होता है during their regular class? फ्रॉम नेक्स्ट वीक क्या होगा कि आप लोग यू जस्ट रेज योर हैंड, योर कैमरा इज ओपन एंड यू कैन जस्ट अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड जस्ट आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस एंड हैव डिस्कशंस एंड गिव कमेंट्स, अपना डिबेट्स करते हैं। अभी इनफैक्ट जो अभी लास्ट बैच ख़त्म हुआ ऑल कोर्सेज का, ये मेरे फेवरेट बैच था क्योंकि जिसमें ये महा वगैरह भी थे। सो मच क्वेश्चन, सो मच इन डेप्थ, राइट? ऐसे ऐसे सवाल जो एक्चुअली आई वाज शुक टू माय नॉलेज। अच्छा, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चंस, right? And I love those kind of questions because they help me grow as well. You see, I have been teaching the same concept, the same outline for since 2016. So 10 साल होने को है कि मैं सिर्फ ये concepts पढ़ा रहा हूँ. When I get students like this previous batch, like Maha and Sadaf in the previous batch, that makes me really excited to be a teacher. So yeah. Uh, any questions about radical acceptance? Any questions about uh, any questions about dialectics? आज मैं काफी तेज तेज जा रहा हूं, तो प्रोबेबली हम एंड करेंगे अर्ली क्लास को, ठीक है? Probably we end a class early today, like can because तीन चीजें मुझे फर्स्ट लेक्चर में आपको असाइनमेंट देने हैं. I'll give you a homework. So let's see how quickly we can cover this. Okay, so non-judgmentality, radical acceptance, dialectics. Just FYI, during the DBT skills training, which we are about to start the first module of mindfulness, there are 4 skills that we will be learning. The skill of mindfulness, the skill of emotion regulation. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the skill that is an ability that helps you guys become aware of your emotions, sensations, internal, external sounds, everything, but without judgment. That is why we are learning first of all radical acceptance. You cannot do mindfulness without radical acceptance. And yes, mindfulness is something that you do. It is not something that happens to you. Okay? खुद से mindful नहीं होता. हाँ, क्योंकि अक्सर लोग ऐसे समझते हैं ना कि मैं सडनली निर्वाणा मैंने अचीव कर लिया और खुद ब खुद मैं जी स्पिरिचुअल हो गया और पता नहीं अब मैं माइंडफुल हो गया. नो नो नो, इट्स अ मसल दैट यू बिल्ड, इट्स अ प्रैक्टिस. अच्छा, गुड क्वेश्चन. अफसल पूछ रहे हैं, इज देयर अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन मेडिटेशन एंड माइंडफुलनेस? यस. अच्छा, माइंडफुलनेस इज द गोल, इट्स अ स्किल. अच्छा जी, अभी मैंने वेट लॉस करना है, ठीक है? मैं किस किस तरीकों से कर सकता हूं, किस किस मेथड से कर सकता हूं? I have to run, exercise, I have to control my diet. ऐसी है, ये दो चीजें करूंगा तो वेट लॉस अचीव होगा. करेक्ट? सेम. माइंडफुलनेस इज द goal, it's a skill. Meditation is something that you do in order to become mindful. ठीक है? अब एक्सरसाइज करके सिर्फ मैं वेट लॉस नहीं करता. समटाइम्स मैं एक्सरसाइज इसलिए करता हूं क्योंकि एंड गोल है मेरा मसल गेन. सेम विद मेडिटेशन. मेडिटेशन करके मैं समटाइम्स डिप्रेशन को ट्रीट करता हूं, समटाइम्स मैं माइंडफुलनेस अचीव करता हूं. सो माइंडफुलनेस इज द गोल, द टूल इज मेडिटेशन. जैनब ने बहुत मुश्किल सवाल पूछा है, हाउ टू बी कंसिस्टेंट. गौर से मेरा आंसर सुने. The answer to how to be consistent is just be consistent. Got it? How to be consistent? The answer, just be. That's it. There is no how. Either you be, you are, or you're not. There's no how to be consistent. Okay? Anybody who is selling you methods and methodology and courses to make you be consistent, they're just selling to you. Okay? Let me ask you this: how to be human? Yeah, how to be human? You just be human. How to exist? Just be. How to be consistent? Just be consistent. So anyhow, let's finish up. So mindfulness is the first skill. There is a lot of discussion, question answers that we can do when we start the regular classes from next week. This is lecture number 1. But of course, paid students get a lot more interactions with me. Number 2, emotion regulation. What is emotion regulation? Emotion regulation helps you deal with vulnerabilities when it comes to your emotions. अब vulnerabilities क्या है? हम इसके बाद ही फौरन अभी सीखेंगे vulnerabilities क्या है. Vulnerabilities are basically those factors that make you more that increase the probability of emotional crisis. मसलन अगर आपकी नींद सही नहीं है, उस दिन चांसेस ज्यादा है आपकी मूड खराब होने का, या जिस दिन आपका नींद सही हो. If you have not slept well, if you haven't slept well, the probability of emotional crisis increases. If you have slept well, then the probability lowers. Distress tolerance is the third skill. Emotion regulation deals with vulnerabilities. Distress tolerance is the skill of soothing and comforting yourself so that when you are in emotional distress, you don't make things worse. गुस्सा आया, तलाक 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 दे दिया, हैं ये कौन सी बात हुई? You don't make things worse. Distress को tolerate कैसे करें? हाँ. Then finally हम बात करेंगे interpersonal effectiveness का. अब a lot of DBT skills trainings put interpersonal effectiveness in the start. I don't. This is my course, so मेरी मर्जी चलेगी ना. I've put it at the end. Why? Because हमारा culture it is not ready for learning interpersonal skills. हमारी जो collectivist culture है with a lot of enmeshment, trauma, no boundaries. I don't want to touch these until we are in good repo. फर्स्ट टाइम मैं और आप रिलेशनशिप बिल्ड करेंगे, आप माइंडफुलनेस सीखोगे, आप और अपने साथ रिलेशनशिप आपकी अच्छी होगी. माइंडफुलनेस, इमोशनल डिस्ट्रेस टॉलरेंस, एंड देन वी टॉक अबाउट बाउंड्रीज. अभी मैं बाउंड्रीज की आपसे बात करूंगा, यू ऑल विल बी यार ये तो फॉरेनर कॉन्सेप्ट है, हमारे अंदर नहीं होता. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो. We are not touching anything about interpersonal effectiveness. But the goal of interpersonal effectiveness is how to how to get what you want from a relationship, maintaining your self-esteem and self-respect. Of course, उसमें ये compromises वगैरह सारी बातें करेंगे, assertiveness की बातें. ठीक है, ये 4 skills है. Finally, before we end today's class, we want to talk about vulnerabilities. That is the part of emotion regulation. लेकिन क्योंकि मैं आप लोगों को homework देना चाह रहा हूँ until next week, I want to teach you guys right now what are vulnerabilities. Of course, if you come from a psychological background, you already know vulnerabilities क्या है. But as I said, all courses are created for people who have zero knowledge of human psychology and psychology background. ठीक है. तो इसमें मैं आपको क्या बताना चाह रहा हूँ vulnerabilities में. Vulnerabilities basically are those factors that make you that increases the probability of emotional crisis. ठीक है. अब एक सिचुएशन आ गया, क्या जिसका ब्रेकअप होता है वो डिप्रेस होता है? नो, राइट. क्या जिसको रिजेक्शन फेस होता है वो सुसाइडल होता है? नो, राइट. क्या हर इंसान जिसकी एग्जाम फेल होता है वो सुसाइडल होता है? नो, राइट. There are factors that increase the probability of those problems, the probability of that crisis, right? What are those factors? इसको हम कहते हैं बायो साइको सोशल मॉडल. एक्सक्यूज मी. अच्छा, बायो साइको सोशल मॉडल में क्या है? There are factors that are biological, there are factors that are psychological, and there are factors that are social. आपका होमवर्क इनफैक्ट यही है कि अपने लाइफ की बायो साइको सोशल वल्नरेबिलिटीज को आइडेंटिफाई करें, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट क्लास में since it will be interactive with all of you, आप मुझे एंड अदर क्लास स्टूडेंट्स को, अपने पीएस को एक्सप्रेस करोगे अपना बायोसाइकोसोशल मॉडल की बायोसाइकोसोशल वल्नरेबिलिटीज. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट बायोलॉजिकल वल्नरेबिलिटीज. क्या होता है? जेनेटिक्स. मसलन, so for example, if there is someone with borderline personality disorder in your family, it highly increases the probability that you or your children will get borderline personality disorder. If there is somebody with anxiety, with depression, with whatever disorder, psychological disorder, it increases, right? Right? So for example, my eyes are green. Genetics goes down the line. So if my eyes are green, it increases the chances that my children will also have green eyes. Does not guarantee, but it increases the probability of it. ये जेनेटिक्स है. अच्छा, उसमें और क्या फैक्टर्स है? फूड है, स्लीप है, एक्सरसाइज है, आपकी जो एडिक्शंस है, आपकी ये सारी चीजें देर आर बायोलॉजिकल, फिजियोलॉजिकल. आपकी नर्वस सिस्टम आपकी बॉडी को करता है. यू गेट इट? ओके. सो आपने आइडेंटिफाई करने कौन सी बायोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स है. मतलब फॉर मी, अभी तो मैं बहुत ठीक हो गया हूं, बट अगर आप पिछले साल की बात करो, मेरा स्लीप वॉज हॉरिबल, मेरा फूड वॉज हॉरिबल. आप उसमें अब ये नहीं कह सकते हो कि स्लीप की वजह से मेरे अंदर क्रेविंग ज्यादा होती थी फास्ट फूड वगैरह की, या फास्ट फूड की वजह से स्लीप की ज्यादा डिस्टर्बेंस होती थी. यू कैनॉट रियली make it direct causation. That's why we work on correlation. ठीक है? So these factors increase, physiological factors increase. Then there is psychological factors like your attitude. What are your attitude? Like your belief systems. Are you a pessimist or are you an optimist? क्या हर वक्त आप ये सोच रहे होते हो कि what is wrong with this situation? Or do you have a habit of complaining? In fact, मेरा thesis इसी पे है. ठीक है, इस एटीट्यूड के ऊपर, कॉग्निशन के ऊपर है. ठीक है, आपकी बिलीव्स क्या है, आपकी अप्रोच टू लाइफ क्या है. मतलब एट द एंड ऑफ द डे व्हेन यू आर स्लीपिंग, डू यू थिंक अबाउट ऑल द बैड थिंग्स दैट हैपन टू यू, और डू यू थिंक अबाउट ऑल द गुड थिंग्स दैट हैपन टू यू? हाँ, ये हमने आपको आपने आइडेंटिफाई करना है. सो व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ माइंडसेट do you carry that might increase your probability of emotional crisis? Emotional crisis. Does that make sense? And finally, social factors. आपकी relationships. क्या आप एक invalidating environment में रहते हो? क्या जब आप आके अपने दोस्त को कहते हो कि यार मेरा मूड आज खराब है, आपका दोस्त कहता है जा यार, डिप्रेशन डिप्रेशन कुछ नहीं होता, चल. क्या जब आप अपना फैमिली मेंबर्स को कहते हो कि मेरे दिल में आज एक बोझ है, वो आपसे कहते हैं यार ये बोझ सोच हमारे उम्र में नहीं, हमारे टाइम पे नहीं होता था, ये तुम लोगों का यंग जेंजी का मसला है. इनवैलिडेटिंग कि योर इमोशंस डू नॉट एग्जिस्ट, इट्स ऑल इन योर हेड. इनवैलिडेटिंग इन्वायरमेंट है. क्या आप गाजा स्ट्रिप में रहते हो जहां पे हर वक्त थ्रेट ऑफ डेथ है? इन्वायरमेंट. ठीक है. So environmental factor. If you understood biopsychosocial model of vulnerabilities, please give a thumbs up so I can assign you your homework. Okay, I can see thumbs ups. If you have question, put them in the chat box. आज की क्लास जो है असल में हमारे पास 10 मिनट ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा इसीलिए बच रहा है क्योंकि वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ डिस्कशंस. आप मैं आपको ना नेक्स्ट वाला कॉन्सेप्ट स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकता. आई कैनॉट जंप इनटू द लैंग्वेज ऑफ अवेयरनेस. आई कैनॉट जंप इनटू डिफॉल्ट मोड नेटवर्क क्योंकि इनको स्टार्ट करेंगे फिर पूरा एक दिन लगने वाला है, एक लेक्चर हमारा लगने वाला है. सो वी आर स्टॉप हियर. ओके. Now, questions in the chat box, and I'm going to answer. Zainab, your answer wasn't useful. Yeah, that was my goal, right? Not everything should be answered by somebody else. Some answers should come from you. Will we learn about brain chemicals as well as a pharmacology? No, this is not a pharmaceutical course. I will mention some of them on and off, but this is not we don't get into details of any pharmacological approach to emotionals, right? There is a whole different subject, pharmacology. Alvira कहती हैं, does it is to be the written form, it. Oh yeah, homework. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your homework, vulnerabilities, has to be in written. You don't submit to me. No, you bring it in written to your next class. And when it's an open class, of course, I mean open in the sense के सिर्फ of course सिर्फ वो हैं जो paid students हैं. But next week, next Tuesday, सिर्फ वही students होंगे जो regular student, उन्होंने admissions ले लिए हैं और वो आ रहे हैं. So cameras open होंगे, हम discussions कर रहे होंगे openly, ठीक है? तो उसमें आप present करोगे कि मैंने अपना असाइनमेंट किया और मुझे पता लगा थ्रू आउट द वीक, मैं जब नोटिस कर रही थी अपने आप को, मुझे पता लगा कि बायोलॉजिकली ये मेरे वल्नरेबिलिटीज है, साइकोलॉजिकली ये मेरे पॉसिबल वल्नरेबिलिटीज एंड फिजियो एंड सोशली ये मेरे वल्नरेबिलिटीज है. ओके, Vivo is asking definition of vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are factors that increase the probability of emotional crisis. Okay, yeah, the major ones involved in disorders. हाँ, उसमें तो ऑब्वियसली हम थोड़ा बहुत डिस्कशन करें. देखिए, हमारा गोल है आपको उतना फोकस्ड नॉलेज देना सो दैट यू कैन स्टार्ट सीइंग क्लाइंट्स. हमारा फोकस आपको पूरा हिस्ट्री ऑफ साइकोलॉजी पढ़ाना नहीं है. राइट, दीज आर प्रैक्टिकल कोर्सेज. हिस्ट्री ऑफ साइकोलॉजी पढ़ना है, आप कोई साइकोलॉजी कोर्स में एडमिशन लें, ठीक है? 2 साल लगाएं, आपको पूरा हिस्ट्री समझ आएगा. हमारा गोल इस कोर्सेज में प्रैक्टिकल, दीज आर प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज. ओके, दीज आर नॉट एकेडमिक कोर्सेज, प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज. सो व्हाट वी वांट इज टू गेट यू बिल्डिंग स्किल्स इन अ वे दैट यू कैन सी क्लाइंट्स. आपने 2 साल का बीए किया, अभी तक आपको नहीं पता क्लाइंट के साथ क्या करना, फायदा? हाँ, आपने 4 साल का बीए बीएससी किया, अभी तक नहीं पता क्लाइंट के साथ क्या करना, फायदा 4 साल का? हाँ, 4 मंथ्स में फोकस्ड करेंगे, ठीक है? ये आप जरा क्लियर रहें जैनब, ठीक है? दैट्स इट. We have 10 more minutes. Any questions, or we can end today's class early? I'm going to put my WhatsApp number again, 923327807080. So WhatsApp करें. मैं आपको आज की रिकॉर्डिंग भी दिखाऊंगा एंड मैं आपको गाइड भी करूंगा फर्दर इफ यू वांट टू ज्वाइन. अच्छा, कल की जो क्लास है इज हिप्नोथेरेपी क्लास, वो भी एक अच्छा एक एक्सपीरियंस है. यू एवरीवन कैन ज्वाइन एज वेल. ऑफ कोर्स सोशल मीडिया में आप देखोगे उसके लिंक्स ऑलरेडी आपको भी व्हाट्सएप हो चुके हैं. एंड इफ यू वुड लाइक, इनबॉक्स मी अगेन इन द सेम व्हाट्सएप नंबर, मैं आपको फिर से सेंड कर दूंगा. कल और परसों यू आर वेलकम टू हिप्नोथेरेपी एंड एनएलपी. देन दैट्स इट. थर्सडे मेरी और आपकी जो कि अनपेड स्टूडेंट्स होंगे, रिलेशनशिप खत्म हो जाएगा अंटिल नेक्स्ट 4 months, ठीक है? If yes, FS, I want your list of vulnerabilities. अब आपकी थिंकिंग को मैं क्लियर कर रहा हूँ. You have to be mindful of your vulnerabilities. ठीक हो गया? You bring it in written to next class. Next Tuesday को आपकी every Tuesday को DBT की क्लास होगी and we will discuss them further. All right? Okay, guys. Thank you very much. This was it for today. I hope you had fun. I hope to see you guys in regular classes from next week. It's the knowledge gift. I hope you give me an opportunity to help you grow as a therapist, as a person as well. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.